Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 616 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob, Commander Taco Baldo, and I am here today on this glorious Tuesday with Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
And Chris DeBona.
Hello.
Gentlemen, how was everybody's weekend?
It's okay.
It was fine, yeah.
I was bummed because there was a launch at Wallops, so I went out to my yard to see it because you're supposed to be able to see it at a 90-second delay over the launch time or whatever, and I couldn't see it. But also I realized that I'm pretty sure that there's a big mountain of trees in the horizon at that spot.
Yeah.
So I got to go to a Wallops launch it was a long time ago, but the fog was so dense. Mm-hmm. Like all it was like a little glow,
Yeah.
It was a night launch. And so it was like a little glow in the sky. And I'm like, well, okay, there you go.
Yeah, the Wallops launches aren't usually as cool as the KSC ones.
Yeah, for sure. But like also actually not Wallops. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the West Coast one. Not Wallops. I've never been to Wallops. Wallops is East Coast.
That's right.
That's Virginia, man.
Yeah, right.
I don't know anything about that.
I tried several times to see a launch when I was living in Maryland, and it just never worked out for me. And even to the times I even was sitting on a park bench with the view, and I'm watching it on my phone to see when it goes off so I can watch on the sky, and boom, it exploded on the pad. I was like, God damn it.
No.
I walked all the way out here. And
was that your fault?
Probably. I mean, usually it is. That's been my experience. In my home, it's my fault.
Okay. Yeah, the one I went to was at Vandenberg. So, yeah. Because I remember getting these little pancakes in Solvang.
Mm.
Solvang is right out of, honestly, it's a Dutch settlement in the middle of California. So y'all would have felt
I'd feel at home.
Super at home. Yeah.
Do they have tulips?
It's Hans Christian Andersen Park. It's got tulips everywhere. It's got a Marriott.
Well, then they're sad.
So it's serious, and
right?
Then, yeah, so it's really nice.
Well, in other space news, China got a rover on Mars.
What I thought, I have to be honest with you, I wasn't following this in the slightest.
It's been orbiting for a while.
That's cool.
Yep, and we'll see what it goes. But the controversy, of course, is that they don't tell people. And this is the whole Chinese space program, right? With the American stuff, we're watching it live. We're watching the live streams. You got a whole group of people in a hangout somewhere chatting and excited about the launches. Mm-hmm. China's 2 hours later, they tell you if it worked or not.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they'll tell you if it worked.
Right.
Not or not.
Less so on the not.
I want to point out that Thomas Zurbuchen, formerly of the University of Michigan, and he still has tenure, head of science at the U.S. Space Agency, was also quick to add his own congratulations. So we're big fans of Thomas here on the show. So he's a super neat guy.
All right.
That's all I want to say. So.
All right.
And when he says he looks forward to the important contributions that this mission will make to the humanity's understanding of the Red Planet, he means it.
That's right.
I just wish he loved America as much as he loves space.
He just likes the places where nobody can hear you scream.
Not okay, So
no, that's why we want to go to space, so that you can murder without having to hear screams.
So my question: will the Zerong go and sort of gently trade paint with one of the other rovers?
All I'm saying is they already call it the Red Planet. We have an uphill battle if we're going to send democracy to Mars.
Ooh,
right? That's true.
That's true.
I guess it's the Republicans who are red in America, so I'm sure the far right is very, very happy with this launch.
Do you think that's what happened? The Republicans are oh no, Russia's red too, so now we're friends.
I guess we're pals. That's the law. It's the law of colors.
Yeah. According to the color wheel, the GOP is communist now.
I mean, you saw the movie Colors. If you're blue or you're red, you're saying something, right? So I guess we're red. I guess we're with the Russians and the pinko commies.
Are the pinko commies pink?
I was about to say, maybe we can't call them pink. Where did pinko even come from?
I don't know.
That's my question.
It was a way to disparage the red communists even more. You know what I mean?
No. It's a lighter form of communism.
Oh, I see. It's communist light.
Yeah, it's a way of sort of, like coming down on lefty people.
So it's like woke, but back in the day.
Yeah, but it'd be like more like awake or not sleepy.
Caffeinated.
I'm not really good at. I think we're veering very close to a dangerous part of the American discourse right now.
Oh, so. That would be a first.
Yeah. I have to tell you, I loved this post that you put up.
Isn't that cute?
How to get kicked out of Home Depot, and look, it's what's the trash
Gunk.
robot's actual name?
It's Gunk.
It's Gunk. It's Gunk. Yeah.
I was just laughing because that's making the rounds because a Gonk droid has a recurring sort of minor bit in Bad Batch. They have a Gonk droid in their whatever shuttle cruiser or whatever, and in each of the episodes, it's been used like as a comedic prop at some point. But the best one by far was when Wrecker, the strong one, was like doing curls with an entire Gonk droid. Like, all right, cool. Have you ever read back in the day the theory that he's a fallen elder god and the Star Wars movies are really just about his eternal sufferings?
No.
No.
All right. It's weird, and it's something that I remember reading on Usenet, like circa 1992.
So, Gunk, elder, god, Usenet.
Well, let's see. What else do we got?
Kurt's going to find some Everything 2 link.
Yeah, probably. So there's an app now that lets you control another person's life, which is an incredibly ambitious headline for what as far as I can tell, the app actually is, which is actually kind of a fun idea. What's
this now?
This is the app that lets you pay to control another person's life. And
that sounds awful.
It was above the Gonk droid on my list. But so the headline makes it look all bad, but in the example, all it was basically you put up a poll question and then people pay to vote.
Yeah, this was like when Survivor came out, and you're like, oh, these people really aren't surviving. This is like a game.
Yeah,
it's a game show.
Yeah. Also, this only has like 500 users.
And a good publicist.
For sure. There was a movie not that long ago. It was all purples and reds, and it starred Bella Thorne or something, the one that's like related to Julia Roberts, that had kind of a similar premise where the app was controlling people and making people go on murder sprees and stuff. It was not. So like I read the headline and thought it was that, and it's not. I was bummed. I wanted to see something really cool. The busy let's see. Well, we got Tetris for Game Boy multiplayer.
Was it the Babysitter Killer Queen?
No.
No.
Okay. No, not at all. You doing this wrong. Do I have to teach you how to use Google?
No, I'm just, looking at her oeuvre on IMDb, and she has some ones. I was gonna say, is it Bad Barbie featuring Ty Dolla $ign? Trust me. Is that the name of the movie?
No.
And then I was going to ask another one, but it's too filthy to say.
Do they have Little Italy on that list?
Let me see.
Because that is a train wreck of a movie. So there's the Tetris for a Game Boy. Did we talk about this a couple of weeks ago?
I don't remember.
Okay, because I just wanted to mention.
No, I don't think we did. I think we might have talked about it on the channel.
It's super fucking cool. Raspberry Pi.
If you like that kind of thing.
Sure. If you like cool things, it's
if you're cool, then it's cool.
Well,
if you're lame, then it's not cool.
I'll tell you, there were a few things about it that I really liked, but the thing that I liked the most was the fact that it was doing this all through some web USB interface that exists now that very few things actually make use of. But basically, you can plug this thing into your Game Boy. It's a Raspberry Pi.
Using the Game Boy link.
Yeah, using the original cables. And it basically does a simple match on a remote web page, and you can play Tetris against somebody anywhere in the world. I don't have an original.
I loved that version of Tetris so much.
Yeah.
It played Old Polnya, and it's such a good version of Tetris.
We have to have talked about the new speedrunning records or the new high scores for Tetris?
No. I'm sure we have.
Okay.
You know.
Well,
we talked about Hatris, we talked about Lovetris, we talked about speedruns, we talked about everything. We're 600 episodes in. We've talked about everything.
There was a
have we?
Let's get started. There was a thing just a minute ago we skipped because we decided it would be too controversial.
Which one?
I don't know. The thing that you said we were getting too close
to
Heartland.
One, or?
No, I'm looking forward to talking about that.
We've never shied away from butthole oxygen. No, there's a thing going on about how a year or so ago, like playing Tetris at the thing where they start you with a bunch of lines and you have to get 25 lines, like that style of Tetris was for 25 years basically unbeatable. And then somebody figured out some new techniques, and over the course of a couple of weeks, like a ton of people started beating Tetris like that and scoring like new amazing scores in Tetris. I love that after 25 years, that 30 years, they're still figuring weird glitches like that out. It makes me very happy.
The last game we talked about, it was that one racing game, and the guy found a new way of hopping across to beat a record.
Are you talking about Frogger?
No, it was a road like a racing game.
Yeah.
It's not important.
It is not. Did you see Busy Being Born?
No.
This is go definitely click on it, but all it is it's a bunch of camera photographs of a computer monitor, but it's basically pre-release for Mac and Lisa era user interface, and they're not dated. But it's really cool because you can go through and see, well, this is what they had. Like here they had proportional font spacing. And later on, they're like, here we moved the pull down menu from the window to the top. And it's like, this is 1981, 1982. It's just a really cool historical artifact that I had not seen before.
I have to tell you, so I'm not an Apple user. I'm not a huge fan of their products, and I think a lot of their business practices are terrible. But I love the Folklore site. I love it so much.
For sure.
It's such a neat site. Andy Hertzfeld and the guys, doing their thing. It's really neat. I mean, if you want, and the thing is, this is one of the regrets I actually have of Google even. It's we never really concentrated on our history in this way, and it's so neat. I know these stories are deep in the tandems and the decks and the Googles and the rest, but Folklore, Andy and the group, they really preserve the history, and it's really neat. Honestly, this is a great site.
It's just cool that, I think about this a lot too, because basically everything that I did in my entire career is gone now. There's Internet Archive pieces, but it's gone. I have an image of a backup of the source code from 1998, and that's basically the extent of what exists for 10 years of work. And that makes me sad, but these guys have photographs. They have this. This is really neat stuff, and this is from back in the era. This is back in the day, man. I love this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they scanned them in because Polaroids don't last.
For sure. All that analog stuff, man. You got to get a copy of it while you can.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about animals breathing through their buttholes, or do we want to talk about some of the more serious things on the list before we end?
Excuse me.
Yeah. Breathing out your ass is pretty serious.
Well, I mean, especially as a way of helping people when they're, having trouble with their lungs. I mean, this is serious stuff, Malda.
I know.
There's a whole new level. You can disparage someone by calling them a mouth breather, and now you can call someone an ass breather.
Right.
It's a whole new level.
We were talking about this at work on a work channel, and someone was like, "Wow, this is going to make CPR training really awkward next year."
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Hopefully, there isn't a lot of blowback.
Dun dun.
I couldn't help myself.
I understand. My problem is that they're going to have to make new dummies, because the dummies only go down to the waist.
What, Recessa Annie?
Yeah.
I also like reading this story, because if you read it, they talk about how they're depriving mice of oxygen,
right?
And how this made some of them last longer. So they're just sitting in a lab somewhere, smothering mice, and then sticking tubes up their butts to see if they can get oxygen in that way.
Like you
Science.
Oh, gotta suffocate some mice today. Hard day at the lab.
Oh my goodness. As a control, they flush saline solution into the intestines of 2 hypoxic mice and 5 hypoxic pigs.
Right.
So not just strangling them, also strangle them while giving them enema. You know, it's like, you poor things.
Yeah.
But science.
Yeah. It's in the name of science.
Yeah. Every once in a while you wonder if this is just somebody's like, well, how can I have a job where what I get to do is X and Y and Z?
Yeah, it's a chicken egg thing.
I mean, technically, all you need to do is go to some of the worst frats in this country and talk to some people about keistering drinks.
Yep.
And you can figure out that the barrier in your intestines there is thin enough that indeed chemicals can pass back and forth. You really didn't need to suffocate these pigs. You just need to watch a frat boy take a shot up his butt.
Yep. I'd prefer not to, though, if that's a choice. Is it still a choice to not watch
I wonder if there's ever been a scientific study of the future of people who keistered in college. Like, did they do well? Did they
is it causal? Or does it just correlate to being a douche?
Does it correlate with, becoming, I don't know, like a cop who kills people?
Or,
I'm just saying, there's not a good outcome if you're putting alcohol up your butt in a non-medical setting.
Maybe they'd find those people are open to new opportunities and ventures, right?
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for this kind of thing, and I guess it's college.
Faux show. All right, what do we have here? We got.
Okay.
You want to talk about cookies?
I hate stunt food made from insects.
Yeah.
This is gross. It's grody. And I know lobster's tasty as hell, and they're just cockroaches, but big in the sea. But honestly, no. I'm not going to eat a cookie with cicadas or crickets or ants in it. Barf.
Lobsters are way dirtier than cicadas.
I know.
Yeah.
Because what they eat.
Most shellfish are pretty damn gross.
I love shellfish, but I have to tell you, I'm fine with that inconsistency. I cannot eat cicadas.
We have a friend who is in the food industry, and he actually got asked, someone sent an email to him asking about if they were going to serve cicadas and if they were going to harvest them responsibly. So there was a lot of talk about what responsible cicada harvesting would look like.
You just use the grill of your car. If my experience is from 1987 or any guy.
I don't know who it was that suggested that they have to be harvested with an organic wool glove, but that's the one that I liked.
That was me.
Well done, sir. Well done.
And you have to put them in in a plastic container that is not made of is it
BPA?
BPA.
And you have to shear the wool yourself using a proper implement. And then thread the wool, and then yarn the wool, and then make the glove, and then.
But once you do that, the tree shrimp tastes delicious.
Oh, it's so gross, dude.
Shrimp
so I was alive 34 years ago, as were you two. But I was in Virginia where there was a huge amount of cicadas, and I just remember my car was just covered in them. So disgusting.
Well, it happened here like 7 years ago. Or 9 years, whatever the cycle was, and we're due for it this year, but I haven't seen anything this year.
Because it had the ground has to hit a certain temperature.
So
they
it's
actually
go light a fire.
They just came out in Cincinnati.
So it's only a matter of time before we get to have cicada cookies. So yeah, that lumber mill story. I mean, whatever. I want that lumber mill. That's cool.
Well, so Logosol makes them. There's tons.
They're not a big deal.
I actually think that the drive up in timber prices, yes, has something to do with COVID and everyone going all DIY. But I think if YouTube didn't exist, lumber prices would be flat. Let me explain. I think that there's so much knowledge accessible. People are like, I want to build a wall. How do I do it? They go to YouTube. They see what they need to do it. They buy the wood, and there's less and less wood. Same thing. There's some terrific log milling channels and DIYers on YouTube.
Oh,
you can learn all kinds of things on how to mill your own wood and stuff.
I may or may not follow several of them on YouTube.
Right? It's cool.
Yeah.
They make really awesome chainsaw mills.
Yeah.
That you can buy.
So April Wilkerson is a great YouTuber, and she just did one about her Logosol mill. Let me see if I can.
I finally unfollowed her. She bothered me. She seems too affected.
Is she too cheery? I think that you don't like cheery people.
No, so every YouTuber follows this trajectory where they're like all alone doing it with a crap ass camera. And then as they get a following, one by one, all of their tools become replaced with the same brand. And then they move into a bigger house. Evan and
Caitlin are moving into a bigger house.
Indeed. But as I find that as they like get better and better in production quality, I become less and less interested in them, and they just seem faker and faker. But I don't know if that's correlation or causation. I just that's my feeling.
I don't know. The thing with Evan and Caitlin, I was like, they're making so many things. Where is it all going? I mean, their house is going to get pretty cluttered with
That's
crap.
Why they had to move.
And that's why they had to move. Yeah.
See, I don't regard them really as DIYers, though. They're just entertaining, silly people.
They're entertainers.
April Wilkinson was trying to like make things and be helpful, but like the helpfulness of her videos fell off as her equipment got better.
I don't know. I still think they're pretty good.
Sure. I haven't watched it in a year, so maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I will allow for that. Dune was originally going to be split over HBO Max and
theaters. Now it's
theaters. Yeah. Theaters only, which probably is the right thing to do now.
Well, I mean, they dragged ass so they could do it this way.
For sure.
We all knew there was no chance that they didn't want to be in the theaters.
Well, here's the thing that I keep wondering about, just purely from a conspiracy theory sort of angle. Do you dump your questionable movies onto the streaming services and save the ones that you think could make you $500 million? Or is it purely just like we gotta have a steady churn on our services and this is the best candidate for that at the time? Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall in these discussions.
I assume it's a combination of those things, right?
Yeah. Well, like look at Black Widow, right? They're going to try to spread that across to both theaters and Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything after it, so here's the thing. If they put Shang-Chi on Disney Plus and theaters at the same time, they're dragging ass, right? Because they're like, this is not going to make it in the theaters the way that we need it to. So let's drive Disney Plus subscriptions.
Well, that's the question. Like, is it a vote of confidence in this movie that they want to hold it for theaters, or is it a vote of like not feeling confident about HBO Max because they were saying that the Snyder Cut didn't really drive any subscriptions to HBO Max?
Oh, you didn't post the story about AT&T.
Oh no, I didn't. AT&T now discovering.
So they're selling HBO. They're shutting down a lot of DC, by the way, too. They're like the comics division is being slashed, and a lot of the movies and shows are being just like, okay, that's not working.
Yeah.
And so they're selling it all to Discovery and parts to someone else. I mean, this reminds me a lot of when Marvel went bankrupt. It was in the 90s and the late 80s, and things just got spread around. So it's like, I think we're in a future sort of like how Spider-Man is sort of like dual controlled. We'll have like the Flash over in this company, we'll have this over there, that over there.
That freaks me out though, because like the Discovery Channel are the dudes that like ran a TV show where that pedophile sex cult guy was on airs for years and years, and they helped hide it.
Duggars?
Yeah, and they hid it, and those are the dudes now who get all this other stuff. Good job, you did a great job. You should definitely be promoted.
I'm unaware of them hiding that, but okay.
Well, they kept the show on the air, and the word
not after that.
Well, the word was that that it was apparent in the production, and there was a lot of fish. Like, that's the scuttlebutt. I'm no expert or anything, but
I mean, I think it's clear that the parents of Josh Duggar were hiding shit for a while. But I think when it became aware to the people above them, they're like, "Why are we still airing this show? Let's stop." You know, we don't need the child abuse power hour.
I think that the timeline between when people knew and when it stopped was a lot wider than people are necessarily being totally upfront about. But that's just like you read Reddit forums, so who the hell knows?
Yeah,
the internet's filled with shit, so I might as well add more conspiracy to it.
Well, the first one was when they caught him on Ashley Madison, if you remember.
Yeah,
and then that slowly rolled out. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know. Well, now we just have the Congress for this kind of entertainment.
There was an AMA with like one of his neighbors, where he was just like listing the weird stuff that was going on in the production of that show, and it was not good.
So this story is actually kind of interesting to read. To sort of, it made it sound like there is a big internal struggle, sort of between the old guard and the new guard. You know, like the folks who didn't really understand streaming, you know what I mean? That want to hold on to, we make pictures here, you know, that sort of thing. Or like, you know, because the amount of money they gave HBO to make content was like literally like a quarter of what Netflix has.
HBO is a prestige brand.
Yep. Here you go, guys. Here's pennies on the dollar. And like even the branding stuff with all of that, like it kind of boggles my mind. Disney is doing it right. Disney is slurping all of those brands. They're putting Disney Plus and they're shuttering all of that other superfluous crap. But how long was it where you had no idea where an HBO show was going to be because they had like 3 different HBO apps that had different pay structures? And how many different platforms do they have?
And even now, the actual construction of the website, the UI is freaking awful. Just try to find something on that. You know, it is a mess.
The AT&T website I had to use it extensively last week, and it is the worst. So I don't want those guys in front of anything consumer facing.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? It's so easy to find HBO Max from the AT&T website.
Yeah, try to delete a line.
Delete a line.
You don't need to log in.
You mean from? Oh, yeah. No, I had a friend who worked at AT&T, and he's like, Chris, we have 111 billing systems that we have to tie together.
Yeah.
you know, billing and provisioning systems that we try to run as one company.
Well, like every like as you're using that website, you watch, and almost every click is a redirector that redirects you to another system, and some of them redirect you like twice. It's like, this is so embarrassing. Your entire system is duct taped together, worse than the system that I tried to maintain 15 years ago with 3 dudes.
Can you? Oh gosh! And then of course they want your feedback.
Well, yeah, but you know.
Here, we should give feedback. You should listen to Geeks in Space episode 616.
Yeah, we'll tell you about how your material is questionable. After we get off this, I'll unload on you an interesting AT&T story that I can't share.
Okay.
Did we have anything else on the list?
I don't
Cicada
think so.
Cookies, Lumber Mills, Dune. Well, have all been urged. Well, we haven't been urged, but Britain is urging everybody to drink 124 pints.
Yeah.
Did you post that?
No, it's still in channel.
Okay.
I didn't put that one up, but I will add it now.
Yeah, to hit the numbers that they had before COVID to catch up to where they were a year ago. They've determined that everyone in Britain needs to drink 120 pints of beer this summer.
I'm picturing my friends. I'll do my part.
Yeah.
You know?
See, and from my ass, like, do I have to, Dad? Come on, shut up, son. This is for Britain.
There's some good beer in Britain.
You also shared the Snake Eyes trailer, but I got to tell you, man, I couldn't begin.
You can't bring yourself to do it.
No, I watched that G.I. Joe movie, and it was possibly the worst movie that I saw that year.
Which one, Retaliation or The Rise of Cobra?
I don't even remember, because whichever one I saw in the theater in Washington, D.C. that I saw it on made me hate G.I. Joe. And I liked G.I. Joe. We talked about the heavy water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in that age group where I was slightly too old to be super into G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I missed it by like probably a year or two. But I still watched it and kind of liked it. It was just, not super important to me like the Super Friends was.
Sure.
But yeah, that movie is an abomination. Oh my God, terrible. It is bad.
So I saw the Snake Eyes trailer and I went back and I watched G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, which has some very likable, I skimmed, but it has some likable actors in it, like Chris Eccleston, and like Ray Park as Snake Eyes or whatever. And I mean, it's got some terrific actors in it, and it is horrifically bad. Not worse than the cartoon, which frustrated me as a child because they were the ones who really brought the whole, we're going to blow up robots, but people are always going to sort of roll away from explosions.
Yeah. And I like that each one was individual. They were kind of like violent Smurfs. Each one had an angle that was not covered by anyone else. So that was kind of interesting.
Let's go get Handy Joe. He kills you with the claw hammer.
And to this day, there's an episode where they go to an island that is overrun by Cobra, and Cobra is putting out children's television. And they have a show about this. They have a show about this kid who's upset because he doesn't have any friends. And the Cobra children explain to him that's because he's different than everyone else. And if he just acted like everyone and followed the rules that Cobra lays out, everyone would like him. And to this day, it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in a cartoon.
Wow.
It is so above what that show was. It was brilliant. I love the episode.
Wow.
That's dark.
Just be a murderous killbot and follow the code of murderous killbots. Cool. Love, Death, and Robots. Out on Netflix. Have either of you watched it yet?
Not yet.
No.
I want to. I heard it's good.
So the first episode is Skullsies and it's good, but like episode 6 or 7 is called All Through the House. And Rob, you especially need to watch this. It's like 12 minutes long. It's no big deal, but it's the coolest Christmas thing that I've seen since Rare Exports, at least. And it might even top Rare Exports, although it's only a short, so it can't quite top Rare Exports. It's awesome.
Okay.
Look at any media that I've consumed of late. I just watched something decent. Those Who Wish Me Dead is lame.
Oh, is it? I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait. It's the other thing.
It's the other thing. Have either of you seen Oxygen yet? That's the one I still want to see.
No. Is that a sci-fi thing?
It's a French sci-fi thing. It's supposed to be decent, but on the edge of good, or on the edge of really good.
Too many subtitles for you?
I don't know. It's just Oxygen. I don't mind subtitles.
That's the Oprah Winfrey Network? Or is that part of HBO?
I think it's on Netflix.
Max? It was a funny joke.
I missed your joke, Chris. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It wasn't that good.
Are any of them?
No. But
Fair.
616 episodes in, what are you going to get?
Yeah, it's a lot. 616. Isn't that the Marvel universe? That's the real world.
That's right. Yeah.
So this is our realest episode so far, guys.
Mm-hmm. Super real.
Should we talk about our feelings and medical issues?
No.
No one wants that.
No.
Ain't nobody got that kind of time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then that's about all we got. Magnum PI says that euthanizing mice with suffocation is the most humane, but he'd rather have his head chopped off. And I'd agree. If you're going to choose your way to go, guillotine seems like the right way to go.
That seems dark.
Yeah. But I mean,
I think the best way to go is to have AT&T sell you to Discovery. Yeah.
The problem is that, do you know how long those CEOs have to sit on hold in order to complete that transaction? They've been on hold since 2013.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me transfer you to billing.
Well, you say that, but so imagine you're at AT&T and they're like, well, we should really integrate these billing and procurement systems. And someone's like, hold on, we're just going to be spun out 2 years from now. Why don't we just drag ass? And then we'll figure out how to integrate with Discovery's, system.
Yeah.
And that person looks smart, and he's the one who's like, "Oh yeah, we'll get right on that."
Right. After that, let's build 12 different chat systems.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like he's the yeah. I get the joke. That's a
joke.
Press 2, and we'll reschedule this meeting at another date.
Oh, I think we should take this offline.
All right, gentlemen.
Let's take this offline and revisit after the holiday.
Goodbye, Chris Devona.
All right, I'll see you.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
See ya.
I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda. This has been episode 616 of Geeks in Space, and we'll see you tomorrow. We are watching Joe versus the Volcano. Bye.